Nora, welcome back.
Thank you.
This is part 2 of the series that we're doing about e-commerce and preparing for the holiday season, Black Friday, etc., etc. Last time we talked about optimizing the website. And today we're going to do a deep dive into email marketing and SMS. So again, grab a notebook and take notes because this is going to be a masterclass. So let's just start, first of all, by addressing the fact or whether or not email marketing is important.
Very important. Email marketing is a gold mine, in my opinion. Most people will spend more time on paid or on organic social media because that's what they see. But in my opinion, that's all borrowed traffic. But somebody who actually signs up to your newsletters, it means that they are interested, and it means that you need to make sure that you nurture that clientele. And essentially it's your own data, so it's your own first party data.
Yeah. Do we actually own these emails as a company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
What about SMS? There's a trend of, I receive a lot, mostly from US companies. I don't know. There are some Canadian companies who are starting to do that. Is it equally efficient as email? Did you try it? Did you experiment with it?
Yeah. We're a little bit behind the US, like everything.
Yeah.
In the US, I feel like there's not a company who doesn't have SMS in their strategy. Here, it's a bit tougher to adopt. I feel like some companies are doing it. I myself have tested it. You have to be a little careful because it's still, starting off. You can't be treating it like email marketing where you send a lot of text messages because people are not used to getting so many. And they feel like their SMS is still like a personal channel. So you have to be careful. In my opinion, use it when it's really warranted. And, when you have like a big drop, if you're doing, you have a big launch, a big promotion, something like that, then yes, use it. And when you do use it, in my opinion, you see really great results, like really amazing click rates. I've seen like 5-6 times the click rate that I seen in my emails, but you can't burn your bridges. If you send too many SMS, people will unsubscribe, and then you'll have burned that channel.
Yeah, for sure. Last time we talked about optimizing the website. People are coming to the website, we're driving traffic, etc., etc. But then many people will come to the website and probably not buy. There are ways to take them to your email list and nurture the relationship there. One of them is abandoned cart, which everybody loves and uses, and maybe it's a bit scary because you feel like, oh my God, how did they know that I have this in my cart? From your experience, what do we do there? Like, how do we handle abandoned cart so that they don't feel like you're spying on them or something, and to ideally make them convert? Quick pause, because this ties right into what we're talking about today. If your website is the foundation of your entire holiday season, then the platform you build it on matters. And full transparency, I'm a Shopify affiliate, so if you use my link, it helps support the show at no extra cost to you. But I only mention it because it's genuinely what I'd point a product brand to. You can start for free, keep building for just $1 a month, and earn up to $13,000 in credits as you start selling. It handles a lot of what Nora and I are getting into today: a checkout that actually converts, a site that's fast and mobile ready, all built right in. So if you're setting up your store or thinking about making the switch before the season hits, the link is waiting for you down in the description.
So what you're talking about are more like the automated emails.
Yeah.
So those, in my opinion, work the best because they are, so we can talk about all the different versions that exist. These are automations that you set up once and then they just run. So it takes effort to set it up at the beginning and then it's just going to run. Now, a way to make it a little bit less creepy, I think that people are more or less now used to the abandoned cart idea. There's abandoned browse also, abandoned view, which, so if you just view a product, then you can get emails.
How do you know? Okay, let's just break this down piece by piece. So abandoned cart is when I go to a website and I put a few things in my shopping cart, but then I don't buy. Maybe I'm using it as a wish list or I'm thinking about it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I get an email, maybe did you forget about this, blah, blah, blah. This, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But views and website visits, that's a bit, how do you track that and how do you have their emails to even send them?
So the person will have to have signed in. So either they signed in because they made a past purchase or they signed in to check something like on their account or something. So once they're signed in, after that, when they come back and that session still exists and they view a product, you have the ability to send them emails. So I personally am not a huge fan of abandoned browse. I find it's a little bit invasive.
Yeah.
And I do also believe that it doesn't really signify intent versus an abandoned cart. There's a bit more intent. Yeah. But like you said, a lot of people use their cart as a wish list. So they never really intended on checking out. But there's a lot more intent than an abandoned view. It's something you can set up. But in my opinion, there's more important ones to focus on than the abandoned view.
Okay.
Now, in order to make sure that you're giving them something that's valuable, it's important to put yourself in the shoes of your consumer and to think, okay, if I arrived on this website, I put something in my cart, what would make me check out? So it's not necessarily just a promotion, which a lot of companies will do. They'll just send you an email saying, hey, if you check out now, you get 15% off.
Okay.
I feel like, so the best way to do it is to have a series of 3 to 4 emails that are sent
For
out.
abandoned cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in each one of them, you are addressing a potential hesitation. So, the first one might be just general, hey, you forgot this item, come back and check out. The second one, which, you could send out 24 hours later, depending on your business model. It could be more about addressing hesitations, like making sure that they understand the shipping, that it would not take them long for them to receive the product. If there's any like FAQs that you want to promote, you can talk about the company a little bit. So anything that you find would make you, as a consumer, feel more confident, that could be a second email. And then the third email could be like social proof, where you could put in like UGC or reviews, testimonials, something like that. So that might make somebody at that stage check out. And if after that they still haven't checked out, then at the end you could probably push an email that has a rebate or free shipping, something like that. But I always say, like, don't go directly to a discount. Try, and if you see that people are not converting, then add the discount, because you don't want to be giving away a discount if it's not needed.
Yeah. Oftentimes I know people who do this. They put things in the cart and they wait for the discount and then they buy. Like, it's a strategy,
It's a strategy, but in certain platforms like Klaviyo or others, you can make sure that people are not gaming the system. So you can put in like where it's not every single time that that email will trigger. It will probably trigger 1 out of 3 times or something like that, so that people don't game the system like that.
I see. Super. This is super interesting. So before Black Friday, if you don't have the abandoned cart automation on, just activate it. At least you
Definitely.
have one thing
Yeah.
that's done. What else can they do to prepare for the holiday season? Since this is the theme and this is the series we're talking about, there are so many things that we can do. So first of all, let's talk about building the list actually from now until then. What are the different strategies that they can adopt to actually have some people on that list and not just send emails to 5 people or something?
Yeah, this is the time to build your list. You know, now, September, October, this is when you should be building your list. Things like lead gen ads on Meta work really well. You don't have to spend huge budgets. It can be like small budgets, but putting those ads in place, having a pop-up on your website, doing an A/B test to see what works in terms of like, so
Yeah.
let's say I've tested out often.
A/B test to the pop-up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've tested often is giving away a gift card, like a contest, and giving a straight discount.
Okay.
And
What happened?
pretty much every time the gift card wins.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. And everybody wins a gift card?
No.
Or no.
So usually
Interesting.
what I've done is like a monthly draw. And because you're not giving like
Yeah.
a $10 gift
Yeah,
card.
yeah, yeah,
You're
obviously.
giving something significant, again, based on your business and what makes sense. People see that as something that's more valuable, and it's better for the business because you're giving away one gift card. You're not
Yes.
giving away multiple.
510%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more often than not, people forget that they have this gift card and they don't actually redeem it. Or if they do redeem it, they might spend more to be able to redeem that. So if you gave like $100, then they might spend like $150, $200 to redeem it. So you actually made some money off of that. So in my opinion, it works always better, but always test, always A/B test, because something that worked in one industry might not work in the other industry.
Yeah.
So it's good to test. So having those in place is very important. And then making sure that you're communicating with this audience from now on and giving them, content that's interesting. For example, it's always good to have some content that is educational, that shows that you know your industry well, because you want these people to stay and not unsubscribe by the time that Black Friday arrives.
Yeah.
But you need to nurture that database. And then, once you're getting close to Black Friday, it's a good idea to look at your database and look at the people who haven't really been engaging and purge those. So a good rule of thumb is to, once a quarter to do
Manually?
Well, so you can set these up. So in Klaviyo
Yeah.
or other platforms, you can set it up that, put rules that if somebody hasn't engaged in, hasn't opened an email or hasn't clicked on an email in the last like 3 months, again, depends on your business model.
Yes.
Then you would put them in a separate list.
Okay.
So in that separate list, so it's the unengaged list, you can try to set up an automation to talk to these people. Try one last time to get them to engage. Again, you would do like a flow of like 2-3 emails, trying to get them to engage, asking them like, are you still interested? And if you see that they're not engaging, you tell them, okay, this is the last time. If you don't want to hear from us, we're going to remove you. That I find is respectful to your
Interesting.
customer.
I never got that.
And it allows you to have a better, healthy database.
Yes, of
because
course.
that way you purge out the people who are
course.
not interested. Because the more people you have in your database that are not really interested, eventually your deliverability might go down.
Yeah.
Because Gmail or Hotmail, they'll see that like, hey, most people are not even opening your emails. So you might start to go in the spam folder, which you really don't want. And also your numbers won't seem as great.
Exactly.
If you,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter if you
Conversions.
have 100,000 people in your database, but only like 5,000 of them are actually engaging.
Yeah.
So it's better to clean that out. Sometimes it's hard because
Yes, I know the numbers will go.
exactly. So it's hard to see those numbers,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's best to have people who actually care about what you're sending.
Yes. You talked about doing lead generation paid ads.
Yeah.
So basically you're paying for those subscribers.
Yeah.
How much is it worth paying for that, let's say?
So it's going to depend on how much each customer is worth to you. So you need to find out what each, so again, depending on the industry, if you're in an industry where the product you're selling is very expensive, then it's only normal that you would be spending a lot of money to acquire each customer. But if you're selling $20 t-shirts, then you don't want to be spending $50 acquiring that one customer. But if it's like a $2,000 sofa, then $50 is not that bad, because at the end you'll be able to make up for that. So it's determining what you're comfortable spending. And then, you set a little budget aside, you test it out, again, testing out, but you need to have the same offer that you would be having in your pop-up, to have that also in the lead gen ad, so that everything is uniform. If ever you're available, you have a brick and mortar store, to have the same offer over there.
Yeah.
Everything has to be the same.
That's important.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes it happens with me when I don't see the same thing in store and online. It's a bit, like a turn off, let's say, because
it erodes your
you really
trust.
want to have the same experience and the same discounts and the same even ability to do the returns or whatever it is, all the services. For me, in this day and age,
Exactly.
I think it's the minimum companies should offer, especially if they're bigger brands who have stores and online. We're not talking about small businesses. Just don't be scared, but try to make things as uniform as possible, whether in your communication, in your content, in your ads, everywhere where you have a touch point with your clients mainly.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you as a consumer, you interact with the brands everywhere in any channel, and you don't see a difference. So why should you as a brand owner differentiate the channels?
Exactly. So let's prepare for Black Friday now. If I'm a small business, I have an e-commerce website, I optimized, I did everything. Now I have a pop-up that says, whatever, take this discount, and you take their emails or whatever strategy you have to collect emails, and you have all of that. We talked about doing the abandoned cart automation. What other automations I can set up that are there in general, but then we will move into the specifics of Black Friday campaigns and stuff like that. But at first, what are the basics that we need to have in any email marketing tool, whether it's Klaviyo or whatever? Klaviyo is the most known in the e-com world, but there are so many that can do the same job.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Klaviyo, in my opinion, is one of the best ones.
Yes.
For the value that you're getting.
Again, not sponsored.
Yeah, it's just a tool that I like using.
Everybody.
Yeah. So there's probably, in my opinion, there's tons of automations you can do. You can go really deep.
Yeah.
But if you want to set your priorities, first would be abandoned cart, of course, like we said. The second would be welcome. So again, would be a series and not just one email.
Okay.
It would be a series. You can go as far as 4, 5, 6 emails. If you really think about it.
How much time do you keep between every single email?
Depends on.
Is it days, weeks?
It's days.
Okay.
You would send the first email pretty much immediately after they would subscribe, and it's general welcome to the club email. The second one, you can send it maybe 48 hours after, talk about the history of the company, talk about your main reasons why you're different than your competitors. The third one you can do like talking about like the bestsellers. Again, putting like some social proof why these are bestsellers. Leaving a couple of days in between. After that, you can do another email if you know that there's something that makes people hesitate to buy, addressing those hesitations. So, making sure that the person feels well educated on your company, because when somebody first subscribes, they're the most engaged because they took the time to
Yes.
subscribe.
Yes.
So make sure that that customer feels really well welcomed. And one thing that I always like to do, and you can do this on Klaviyo, is whenever you're setting up ad hoc emails to send out, there's a smart sending feature on Klaviyo. So when you check that, it will not send that email to someone who received another email from you 24 hours
I
in
like
advance.
it. Yes.
Because if not,
Yes, it will be too much.
it will be too much. Like someone will start to receive the welcome emails, and then like a day later they get like your promotional email, and then a day later they're gonna get this. So it's too much.
Yeah.
So you can like incubate that person in the welcome flow, and then once they are aware of your brand and they're really engaged, then they can start to get the rest of your emails.
Okay.
So welcome,
Interesting.
abandon cart. Post purchase. That's another one that's important because your relationship does not end when they actually purchase. Your relationship continues afterwards. So thanking them for making a purchase. You can also segment at that point. Depending on what they purchased, you can send them a different post-purchase email. If there's someone who purchased something that's very expensive and you want to give them like a different experience, you can do that. You can then...
So you can set up, again, an automation to say if they bought this, whatever, $5,000 product, put them on that automation or that sequence.
Yeah.
And if they bought like a $500 product, put them on the other sequence. So it just becomes automatic and it splits into different sequences.
Yeah, exactly.
This is too complicated for someone who's not...
to start off, of course, just doing one version, you can go with that way. And then it could be like a phase 2 or phase 3 where you decide to go deeper and you really talk to your customers differently.
Also, if they have a larger list, let's say, it's worth taking the time to create all these different workflows and segments. But if you still have like 100 or even 500 or 1,000, it's not that much worth,
That's true.
The effort and the time. So first thing, collect those emails, do the basics, and then start researching what more you can do to, do all. I mean, from your experience, you worked with very big brands, so they probably had very big lists. So you can do all those segmentations and different workflows and different sequences that you can set up. So these are the basics that any brand should have at any time.
Those 3, and the last one that I would add is a win back. So someone who hasn't purchased from you in, again, depending on the cycle of the product. So, for example, in 3 months or 5 months or a year, then you can send them an automated email to tell them, hey, come back, we miss you, whatever, and give them, hopefully you give them something. You can show them new arrivals and then be like, okay, if you check out now, we'll give you, 10% off, just to get them to re-engage with you and to make a new purchase. So in my opinion, those 4, the abandoned cart, welcome, post-purchase, and win-back, are the 4 most important ones. Those should be set up ASAP because it's money you're leaving on the table.
And also, it's not scary. Like, you set it up and then it works by itself.
Exactly.
So it just do it once, put some time to do it, but then you just don't have to...
You don't have to touch it.
Yeah, exactly.
It just brings in money.
Yeah.
Of course, it's good once in a while to go in and check and refresh, change the creative, refresh the messaging to see what's working, what's not. But yeah, it's pretty much like it just brings in money.
On autopilot.
Yeah.
We like this. Yeah. All right. Now let's move to what we can do if we have big seasonal events. And
Yeah.
more specifically, we're talking about the holiday season. So we have, it starts with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then we have Christmas, New Year's, and then for some brands also, like after the new year, there are certain things that can be done. It depends. But let's just start with the with what we do with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, all of that. What do you usually do?
So you start planning now.
Yes.
You start deciding from now what you're going to be communicating, what your promotion is. And you build out your calendar from now. So it's not something that you should be thinking about doing in October. Your calendar of communication should be nailed, in September at least. You should be done knowing what you're going to do and when you're going to be communicating.
Yeah.
So once you have that, you can set up a strategy. One thing that has worked in the past for me is communicating to VIPs earlier than, so let's say doing like a pre-Black Friday just for VIPs.
I was at Cannes Lions a while back and I randomly met a girl who works at Metricool. And if you haven't heard of it, Metricool is the tool I use to schedule and publish all my content across every platform, all from one place. I lit up when she told me because I was already using it every single day. Long story short, they made me an official partner. But here's the real reason I'm telling you. I'm a small business and I put out a lot of content. The only way I keep up is because I schedule everything in Metricool, and with the holiday season coming, this matters even more. The fourth quarter is when you need to show up the most, posting more, and staying consistent right when your business is busiest and everything else is pulling at you. Scheduling it all ahead of time is what keeps you from drowning. So if you want to try it, there's a link in the description. Click on it and then use the code RECTIFIED at checkout for a 30-day free trial of any tier you want, or you can use it for free forever. Now back to the episode. How do you identify VIPs?
So again, it depends on your business, but it's someone who has either spent a certain amount of money. So let's say they've spent $5,000 in a year with you, if that's a lot.
Depends on the price of the product, yeah.
Or it could be volume based, if they've purchased, 5 times in the same year. So when you identify that, it might be just a few people. But those people, you want to make them know that they are valuable to you. So to me, that's a strategy that had worked super well. So, 24 hours in advance, you send them an email, you tell them, you guys are VIPs. We want to make sure that we treat you well. So you have access before everybody else. So you give them a personalized code that's only available to them, and then they can come and shop before everybody else and get the same discount that everyone's going to get the next day. Or you can even give them, if you want to treat them really well, you even give them like a higher discount. So that really works well.
Yeah. So mainly Black Friday this year is on November 27. What do you usually do? I'm seeing Black Friday promos starting super early.
Yeah.
Like I feel like tomorrow they're gonna start, and we're filming this in August.
Yeah.
When do you start usually? I mean, there's no rule about that, but you've been in so many different companies, and I'm pretty sure every company has a different strategy. What's the ideal in your opinion?
In my opinion, and this is where the market has gone, is that the whole month of November should be dedicated to Black Friday. In the past, I've tried to have some promotions in October. Didn't really work that well. And that was surprising to me as well. But it was as if people were just waiting for Black Friday because they thought that they were going to get something bigger. So they didn't really grab on to whatever we gave in October. But starting early in November to have some promotion. So One thing that I've tried is to have a different promotion every week, so a different category that you're promoting every week. And then on Black Friday, it has to be a really big promotion. It's like go big or go home.
Yeah.
Don't do the same thing that you've done 5 times, 20 times in the year. Do a bigger promotion.
Yeah.
If you're used to giving 20%, well, now you have to give 25% because that's what people are expecting. And even if you start off that week with a promotion, the day of Black Friday, increase it because that's what people are expecting.
Interesting. So what if people say, oh, I'm not going to buy because the day of Black Friday, I'm going to get more?
Exactly. That's why you have to give them more because if you do
Okay.
not, they get discouraged. They come on your site and they're like, they feel like they were cheated a little bit.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They waited, and then they get there and your
Yeah.
promotion is not that great. They feel a little cheated.
Okay. So a month before Black Friday or like throughout the months of November, because Black Friday is at the end, you start sending promos according to a calendar that you set up. Like this week, I'm going to do this. Next week,
Yeah.
it can be different promos every week or whatever. How often do we send these emails? Because in November, there's a lot of noise.
Yeah.
It goes crazy. Everybody's sending emails. I personally unsubscribe from 5,000 brands that I'm subscribed to because like at some point I just can't anymore. But this is where it's really important to play it right. Like how often and what do we do?
So what I'm going to say is send as many as you can. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Flood the inbox.
Yeah. I mean, during that time, I wouldn't say this during normal times,
Yes.
like during the rest of the year. Rest of the year for me, the sweet spot is like 3 emails, not more than that
Per week?
per week.
Okay.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
When you do more, people get annoyed.
Yeah, I agree.
But during Black Friday, send as many as you can. If you're gonna
Daily?
if daily maybe is a bit exaggerated, but like 4 or 5 per week. Because it's a numbers game. Like, yes, people are getting a lot, but the more they see, the more chance you have of breaking through. Unfortunately, every brand is doing the same. So yes, the market is crowded. It's going to be the same thing with your paid ads. Everyone's going to be advertising during that time. The cost is going to go up.
Yes.
So
We will talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so your cost is going up for paid, but your emails, it's your own database. It's your first party data. So whether you send 1 email or 5 emails, it costs you the same.
Exactly.
So just people are, like you said, expecting to get a lot of emails. So just play the game and don't think that you're annoying them because this is what the consumer is expecting. But once the holidays end, then go back to your regular schedule.
So in this season, we are sending a lot of emails and we usually send more educational, as you said. You explain something to them, you talk about your story, whatever, your product, etc., your why. What do we do during the season? Is it sell, promo, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what people care about.
Yeah.
That's all they are thinking about. So don't try to, do anything else. They're not going to be interested. They don't have the patience. Just give them what they want.
And do you send the same thing over and over again, or do you get more creative with the different emails?
Yeah, you can try to be a bit more creative. But at the end of the day, all they care about is the promotion.
So it doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can be a bit more creative in the sense that you can have like some UGC mixed in with just just a promo.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff will help. To have like a promo, an email maybe that's like the best of sale so far, things like that. What we love, what we're loving, have that kind of messaging, but the emphasis will still remain on the promotion.
Interesting. And in this situation, what do you do? Do you also do SMS, and do you bombard them with SMS, or do you keep it less, like more chill, let's say, compared to email?
You know, if you've never tested out SMS, I don't think it's the time to test it.
Okay.
But if you've tried to test it like once, you know, before, and you saw that, you know, this worked really well for us, then try to send that. Try to send also an SMS. I'm curious to see this year how many brands are going to start to do SMS, because it's starting to pick up, and it's like a newer channel. I already see some brands that are abusing it, and personally, I find that that's not the way to go. But I'm curious to see how many of them will start to use SMS during Black Friday.
In your opinion, what's the best practice for SMS?
In like the frequency or the
like,
messaging?
Yeah, all of it. Like, what do we do? It's a bit, let me just tell you what I'm thinking. And then I find it a bit weird because I'm receiving an SMS as if it's my friend.
Yeah.
Or like a work text or something, a client, etc. for me. And then I look and it's like X brand. I'm not going to name brands now. Buy your supplements 30% because it's been 6 months that you didn't buy this supplement or whatever. And I'm like, okay. Either I put stop and it just stops, or I click out of curiosity to see how much is the whatever 30 capsules, whatever. I'm talking supplements as an example, but like how much is the price now after the discount, etc., etc. I may or may not buy, but usually, me personally, my behavior is that even during Black Friday, I have a list of things that I need.
Yeah.
And then I just go and see what this brand is offering.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who also get inspired by the emails or the SMS, and they're lost, and you know. So how are we going to manage SMS in a way that doesn't feel like, oh my God, this is my friend. Oh no, it's creepy. It's this supplement brand. And text them something that's very concise.
Yeah.
Also, that tells you the message and makes you not feel like it's a lot. Just get out of my life kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, I think we as like a Canadian consumers, we still see SMS as being a personal channel.
Yeah.
But with time, you know, emails at some point was also a personal channel. You know, you used to get emails from your friends only, but eventually we started to accept that brands are communicating through us through email. The same will happen with SMS. We're probably not there yet with SMS, but we're gonna get there. So that shouldn't hinder you as a brand to send SMS. But like I said before, make sure that you don't send often. Make sure that you choose when to send it, when it's actually worth it.
Yeah.
And the message, yes, the message has to be short and sweet.
Yeah, it's like a small space. You
Exactly.
can't...
Don't write a long thing. It has to be short and sweet, that when they look, they see exactly what it is that you want them to see. And, you know, the click-through rates are usually really, really high. So maybe people like you are clicking out of curiosity, but generally you see really good click rates and conversions also from that
I'm not
channel.
the example of, you know, I'm not the ideal person to receive this and convert, just to say. Yeah. But in terms of SMS, we didn't mention that people have to actually opt in for SMS. So just like you're giving your email, you also have to give your number so that they're contacting you. Yeah. And you have to consent, obviously, to be contacted by a certain company or brand.
Yes.
I believe it's easy to set up probably with all these tools. I've never experienced, I never experimented with that. Can you tell me more about how to do that?
So Klaviyo,
yes,
we're talking about Klaviyo, makes it really easy. So in the pop-up, for example, when you're asking for the email, right now they are pushing SMS a lot. So it will be an option for you to add the text box for the
in
number.
The pop-up. Okay.
And once you do that, automatically Klaviyo populates the terms and conditions with what you need to have for SMS. So it makes it a lot easy for you. What I've done is that I don't make giving your number obligatory.
Yeah.
Emails, yes, but if you want to give your
it's
number,
not
you give it,
mandatory,
but you don't have to do it. And I've been pleasantly surprised by how many people actually give their
interesting.
our numbers keep on increasing very quickly, more than the emails. Like the percentage increase is higher than the emails. So it always like surprises me that so many people are willing to give their number, but make sure that you know the laws. The castle. So make sure that you know the laws and you're not sending any SMS if you haven't gone consent. Same as emails, of course.
Obviously,
make sure that the consent is there. You don't want anybody to be flagging you. It's not worth it. So I feel like people are shifting because they're giving their number so willingly. So I think that the sentiment is starting to shift.
Yeah. As a small business, when they're setting this up, the email setups, like I think we got used to it. I hope you guys know how to do it. For SMS, we need to have a phone number. How does it work?
Yeah.
And do we pay extra for sending these SMS?
Yes.
Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated. So yes, when you do set it up, the email provider like Klaviyo or whatever will ask you for a phone number. Generally, like you put like either a regular phone number or you can put like a 1-800 number, but you need to have a number there.
So you buy a dedicated one for that?
Yeah.
Can people reply to it or
no?
Okay.
Usually not. No,
Okay.
it's only there just for to set it up. And then yes, you do pay for it. So SMS can end up being expensive because you are paying for. So you have a certain amount of characters that you're allowed to send. Once you go over that, Klaviyo doesn't necessarily tell you, but when you're about to send the SMS, it'll tell you that because you're paying with credits.
Okay.
So it's a little bit complicated, I find, the way they do it, where it's like credits. So it might tell you like this SMS is going to take 5 credits, and in your plan you have only 10 left. So it gives you a warning, but it's not easy to understand.
Okay.
When you add emojis, it takes up more credits.
Okay.
So it's a little bit complicated in the way they do it. I sincerely hope that they will make that less complicated, but it can end up like costing you a lot. So that's why, again, don't do it all the time. Do it whenever is really needed. And when you do it, like check how much it actually costs you and to see if it was worth it.
You mentioned credits. It's the credits are according to the length of the SMS. It's not according to the number of people you're sending it to.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's both.
Yeah.
And then if ever you have numbers on your list that are from the US, for example, they might charge you. It's more credits. Actually, apparently Canadian numbers are more credits on Klaviyo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, for some reason that's how it's set up. Again, I really hope that if somebody's listening from Klaviyo, that they will make this less complicated and less punitive for Canadian companies.
Yeah. But for now, if there's somebody who's like a very new or a small business and they don't want to go all over the place, you can just do email.
Yeah.
At least do the basic automations and then prepare for the Black Friday campaigns. Prepare your calendar, etc. In the upcoming episodes, we're going to talk about the different campaigns, etc. that they can prepare. The types of promos more like that they can prepare, but at least know that you're going to send this many emails and put it as a plan, as a strategy to collect those emails from now until beginning November. We still have a few months and it's feasible to have a list that may convert. So start working on that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. How do we know if these emails or these SMS are actually landing in somebody's inbox? Like, is there a way in the Klaviyo or equivalent that you can see it's landing, it's not landing? Tell me
Yeah.
more about that.
So there is a deliverability metric that you can check, and it tells you the percentage of the emails that actually went in the inbox. It will never be 100%, but it needs to be as close as possible to 100%. So that's something that you need to be keeping an eye on. Also, if you notice that all of a sudden there's a drop in engagement, people are opening less, people are clicking less, that's a sign for you to be checking to see if there's something going on. Because it could be that now your deliverability went down for some reason.
Yeah.
Or when people are unsubscribing, you get a choice of like choosing why you're unsubscribing. And if a lot of people click, I never subscribe to this email, or it's spam, that's going to affect your deliverability. So these are things that you need to be keeping an eye on, and also making sure that your unsubscribe rate is healthy. You'll always get unsubscribed depending on your industry.
Yeah.
People will unsubscribe.
It's normal.
It's normal, but when you're starting to get a high number of unsubscribes, that's something that you should be looking into. Why are people unsubscribing? Am I not giving them the content they want? Like we talked about, maintaining a healthy list of purging people who are not engaging before they unsubscribe. That's also a very good strategy, because all of that is taken into account and affects your deliverability.
I really love the idea of maintaining a list of purge lists. I don't know if I want to call it
it's
like that.
It's called like a sunset.
Yeah.
Like you sunset them.
Yeah, that's a nicer way.
Yeah.
That's a nicer
We'll call
way.
it like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They ride into the sunset.
Yeah, exactly. I never thought of this strategy, but I think I'm gonna do it too. I'm not an e-com, but I do have my list. So one last thing before we wrap this episode up. What are 3 things, if they're doing something today, what are the 3 things that they need to do to be ready for Black Friday?
First thing is the automations. I would concentrate on that first. If you're going to do just 3, abandoned cart, welcome, and between post-purchase, probably post-purchase, I would focus on those 3. First, do that. Set them up. Because those will be valuable to you when you're starting to grow your list. Second thing is trying to grow your list. So doing the lead gen ads. If you don't have a pop-up on your website, put that in place. Making sure that you're collecting emails. You can even in Google have, in your Google ads, you could have a call out. They always change the names, but anyways, I think it's called a site link or whatever it's called now, to collect emails if that's something that's important to you.
If they're doing Google ads.
Yes, if they're doing Google, of course. So making sure that you're growing your list. And once your list is starting to grow, start to talk to them in a meaningful way, and make sure that your calendar is ready.
Yeah.
So those would be the 3 things that they need to do so that they're ready for Black Friday.
Yeah, I just thought of something. They can also, and tell me if it's a good one, they can also try to convert some of their followers on social media and get their emails and add them on the list. So 100%. They don't have to spend on ads if they don't have a budget.
100%. That should be something that exactly, because it's people are already following you. To have that in your link in bio, or even do some posts that are encouraging people to sign up.
I mean, basically, we don't own our followers, but we own our email list. Like you said, it's the thing that we own. So why not bring them to another ecosystem that is ours mainly?
It's worth so much.
I agree.
It's not often, there's always talk that email is dead and email is not working, but no.
Yeah.
That's a hill I will
Yeah.
die on. No. Email works if you do it well, if you do it consistently. It does work. You just have to have the right people in your database, but it's a gold mine.
You heard her. You heard her.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
Nora, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
We'll be back with part 3 with Nora of the holiday season series, and I'll be back with you next week with a new episode.